We have a reversal pattern at resistance. We shrug it off. Okay, folks, so Netflix earnings are out, and let's talk about what's going on there. So let's go through the numbers very quickly. They reported second quarter financial results after the close. Okay. Second quarter revenue came in at 7.98, up 8.6% year over the year. That was less than we were expecting. This is interesting though. The company earnings per share were $3.20 versus an estimate of $2.96, which means they did a tremendous amount of cost cutting, which is very positive. Okay, so that is something that they could probably get into on the conference call. At the time of recording this, the conference call did not happen. It happens at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Netflix ended the second quarter with $220.67 million, down from $221.64. Now, we were looking for a loss of $2 million. They came in at a loss at $970. Okay. There's some more in-depth in this number that this article doesn't give into, where they lost more in certain areas. And I want to see how that's handled in the conference call. But better than expected membership growth, and foreign exchange was worse than expected. So the revenue loss is probably because of foreign exchange. Okay, so in other words, the loss up here that they missed, that could just be due to foreign exchange, meaning converting money back and forth in the different currencies could do that. Okay, resulting in 9% revenue growth. The constant currency revenue growth is 13%. So they're telling you, if you look at the difference between these two numbers, you lost roughly 4%. So if you take 4% and you look at where you are on the revenue side, right, you kind of get there a little bit, okay? So just keep that in mind. So they didn't really miss on the revenue as much as you think. It was more resulting based upon the currency fluctuations. In regards to revenue, the APAC region American Pacific region saw a 23% year over year growth, 1.1 subscribers added, which is huge. This was really important. So you see that Stranger Things, and we talked about this in the trading room, that Stranger Things could save them, and it may have. Because if you go through 1 through 3, so increased viewership, right? With Netflix reporting a 5-fold increase the month after season 4 was released for the older seasons. So in other words, they saw a 5-fold increase in the other older seasons after this last season. So that means that they've added people because of that. Netflix reported that it had 1.33 million minutes viewed, which is just absolutely insane. But now the question is, what do they say on the conference call? Now that we have that out of the way, let's look technically at what's going on. This is where we're at. As I stated previously, you have to wait until 6 p.m. At the time of recording this, it's 5 o'clock. I waited as long as I possibly could before getting this out. But all you've really done so far is just hold that level in the first 15-minute bar. And one of the things we always say in the trading room is you want to watch the first 15 minutes because that's really going to determine your spots. And you have 4 key spots, right? You have the open of the bar, the close of the bar, here, and here, right? The low and the high. And you can see how we're holding that close right in there, right? Even this reversal didn't break. And I don't expect much action until you have the conference call. Now at the conference call, they have a little bit of explaining to do on why the revenue miss. I think that we're right, that it's based upon currency exchange. That's going to be a net positive for them when they explain that to people. What I'm curious about is that some of these numbers, when you really dived into them, and we don't have the time for it, but when you really dive into them, some of them were a little off on the paid side. So I'm curious about how they're going to do that, and how they're going to discuss going to an ad revenue model versus their full model, and how they don't think that they're going to cannibalize and lose some of their clients. So I'm very interested to listen to that. But for now, very little to do here. Very little to do at all. I mean, obviously you could get back to this 230, 76 and keep going. Whether or not this opens up or down tomorrow remains to be seen. I think we're in a really precarious spot with this right now still. I don't think much has changed if you look at these breaks, but it's quite possible that they have a great conference call and that this moves higher. So it's important to focus on this because as goes Netflix tomorrow, goes the market. So just realize that the entire markets are going to move based upon what Netflix is doing. And if you think I'm wrong, look at what's happening after hours, okay? You have Tesla that's already bidding up and has been bidding up since the call. Look at Apple, okay? Look what Apple's been doing since the call. Meta, okay? The whole market's bidding up. NVIDIA taking out highs, okay? all because of Netflix and it not being an outright disaster. So as we go into earnings season, reminder, we have Tesla tomorrow night. So as you go into this, you may have more people that want to play Tesla now on the long side because of what Netflix did. Doesn't make any sense, but the market doesn't make any sense. So just understand that. That's very possible that they're going to be looking for the next one. I will say this about even though today was very light volume, I will say this, okay? I like how this kicked in at the end of the day. If you go here and take a look at this buying in the last half hour on NVIDIA and how it was over there. For the rest of the day, you would have been below average volume. You weren't. Now, what's really interesting to me is we had news hit, okay? That news that hit was shrugged off about the semiconductor bill being delayed. And we saw buying step in, and now we're seeing even more buying after hours. So you're going to have to watch this very carefully. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine today about this, and it's a very difficult market. I've been trading for 2 decades, and I've been saying this all year. This is about as hard as it gets. You know, 99, 2000, yes, it was easy to trade on the upside. The downside was very easy. It was telegraphed. This is getting very difficult because you have a lot of conflicting data. You're hitting resistance points and you're breaking hard, and then you're reversing the next day, and you're not in an uptrend. So it makes it very difficult when you look at these leaders as to which way to go with them. And that's adding to the confusion. The only constant that I have that I can point to that is just consistently working is biotech. And I would strongly suggest that you focus on the biotech names as well. You know, for tonight, we're going to go through this on a more macro scale because it's one big trade except for certain names, right? But you see this, like LABU, I'll just walk through this. So this was one yesterday that we were talking about in here. Click off of this. And this was our key level right here. We talked about how the RSI was oversold, and if you wanted to play it, and you look at when the RSI has been oversold repeatedly on LABU, it's probably not the worst place to give it a shot. I think that there might be more. I thought there was another one back here. There it is. So you can see, like, you know, you pretty much are done going down, right? It might not be the prettiest, but you're pretty much done until you get to one of these peaks. And you can see this marked right here. So you're always looking for patterns like that, right? So when we saw this, we knew that this might be an entry. Gapped up, I wanted nothing to do it. Filled, you have this huge bullish engulfing here. I have positions in this. I did not want to add on this with what I saw happen in yesterday's market. So yesterday's sell-off, there was a lot of volume. It was constant. Okay, so let me just walk you through what do I mean when I say it was constant. Once Apple came out that they were telegraphing what they were going to do, okay, with slowing hiring, but this was just constant selling all day long until we got down to here, which was a support level. Okay, I thought we were going to break. We did break. We H'd. They reversed the H and we went higher. That's what's going on right now. Now, what happens tomorrow remains to be seen, but I would tell you that we seem to shrug off some really bad news today like it was nothing. Netflix's call is good because it's not a disaster, not because it's good, right? So keep that in mind. For me, looking at some of these things, there's some really big short squeezes going on. This Mars being absolutely squeezed on Bitcoin here. Take a look at this, and you can see that right here. You're getting over that level. This is, you know, we were explaining the one of the educational videos how to use these boxes. But you're getting over. I mean, there's no reason that from this level that you couldn't test just up to here, 27,000 on Bitcoin. And if you do test 27,000 on Bitcoin, this is going to go higher. I'll look for a spot on it to get a short off. I really have no interest in really trying to play this on the long side now. I mean, maybe you could have done it here. That would have worked. Also, I do want to go through this before we go through the indexes. Take a look at this. I understand that you're down today, but isn't that the pattern that we just witnessed, right? I understand this is down today, but keep AMC on your radar. This breakout's real. This sell-off, this is no different than what just happened to us with Apple. Obviously Apple's a better company than the theater company, but this is exactly the same pattern that just happened. We're constantly looking for patterns. Higher low, higher low, higher low. We have a reversal pattern at resistance. We shrug it off, okay? So when you start seeing these patterns, right? Higher low, higher low, higher low, reversal pattern, right? Maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't, but I would watch this. Another, for people that want the lower price names. So this is one that was pitched to me by somebody in the trading room a while ago. I think at like 175 or something. About a new drug coming out. It seems like there's getting some press releases on that right now. If you're interested in playing these little ones, you might want to look at this because it's just starting a phase one. Usually phase one studies go fairly well because it's like very small sampling, so they know what they're doing. So you might want to put that on your radar as well. Now, this one went over a little bit because there's a lot to cover, but let's just talk about this, all right? Before I even put these in, okay? You closed over the 50, no matter how I think what it should have happened today or what didn't happen today, we closed over the 50 day. So it's really very difficult to say that you shouldn't be a net buyer again. It's getting really, again, this is a very difficult market, but that's about as clear as it gets, right? If you just look at the Qs and you look at this line, that's a breakout. You know, I'm not massively positioned for a long breakout, being candid, but there it is. So, I mean, I have the biotech trades on, but, you know, very underweighted in semiconductors right now, especially after yesterday. You almost had to be coming into today. There's no way you could have looked at those charts and thought that they were going to go. In my opinion, I don't know how you could have done that, you know. So let's take a look at the SPY. Same exact thing. Look, here's your trend line. We need to get above 390. I've been saying this, gosh, I've been saying it in these videos. I've been saying it in the trading room forever. Here we are, okay? And if you look at your indicators right now, you're above the 50 day. You haven't been above the 50 day since April. So you have a lot going on here. And yes, this is going to go just a little bit longer. Stay with me so you can see this, okay? Yield selling off and we're rallying. Keep that in mind. Yield is selling off and we're rallying, okay? That shouldn't be happening. Yield should be dropping. All that's going on today, and the VIX is coming down. All right, so there are some clear signs of this, but going into this week and next week, expect a lot of volatility and expect a lot of gaps because you're going to have massive earnings. Tomorrow night is Tesla. You know, whether or not you play that tomorrow or you're looking at that, I mean, that's a really simple trade tomorrow. I'll leave you with this. If you see 742 and you want to try it because they might run into the close. If you were short, think about it this way. If you were short Netflix, which I was short Netflix, if you were short Netflix, do you want to be short Tesla right now? Not that I'm massively short Tesla, but you understand where I'm going with this conversation. You don't. You're going to want to reduce your risk because you can see what's happening to the exposure. That can happen here. And you could see this push very similar to how Netflix pushed all day today. Just kind of keep that in mind for a trade. That's it. I know this went a little bit over, but there was a lot to cover. Everybody have a great trading day. If you're interested in the trading room, top right, just click the link to take a look at a free preview. Have a good night, everybody. Trade to win tomorrow.